Game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Strictly for Jeff and myself, we are having fun. Marv Albert, Jeff Van Gundy, the Czar, the disgruntled Czar, Mike Fratello, still annoyed by the fact that he forgot that Michael Jordan once scored 61 points against his Atlanta Hawk Ball Club.
Reiterating the whole halftime that they did win that game.
Yes.
Wouldn't let it go.
We'll look into this further.
Yes. There's nothing to look into.
We'll find out.
The Detroit Pistons, though, picked it up in the second quarter. In fact, ended the quarter on a 15-4 run.
Played really unselfish, efficient offense. 16 assists on 19 field goals made. And I'm just wondering, too, does anyone else have the right to rebound for Detroit? Ben Wallace with 9 of their 20 rebounds.
Which is the major reason that they were at the bottom in rebounding last year, although Wallace led the NBA in that department. And Czar, the Bulls, 16 points in the first quarter, very consistent, 16 in the second.
Well, the Bulls have 41 shots at the basket. Between the two veteran guys, Marshall and Rose, they have taken 18 of those 41 attempts. That means the other 8 players that got in the game for Chicago just totaled 23 field goal attempts. You have to be smart against this outstanding Pistons defense. And to compound their problems, Chicago has 0 fast break points. No easy ones in transition against the Pistons.
So Chicago to the offense as this third quarter gets underway. Danielle Marshall over Cliff Robinson. Chauncey Billups in the backcourt with Richard Hamilton, Michael Curry, Cliff Robinson, Ben Wallace up front. That's a three-point attempt. And here come the Bulls, led by their rookie Jay Williams. Here's Eddie Curry, and he is fouled by Wallace getting a piece of the arm. Here's a look at our cheat game summary. Detroit shot 45% in the first half. Chicago just 37%. Chicago had the edge off the board.
Tough customer, Michael Curry. There's nothing easy when Michael Curry's guarding you. Your cuts or you're taken out of your roots by the body contact. He gets up into you right away, and then he gets great help from his teammates.
Foul on Robinson coming up next right here on TNT. It's game 2 of our exclusive NBA coverage. It's the Hornets and the Jazz, and then tomorrow on ESPN, the Wizards and the Nets, followed by the Hornets and Lakers, starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Here's Danielle Marshall. The Bulls are within 8. 2 minutes gone by in this third quarter. Marshall with 10 points. Cover the dribble. Phillips. Chicago Bulls have won their last 2 wins over Cleveland and Orlando. Nice play. Curry able to handle that pass and put it down to 2 straight wins after they lost 9 in a row. They are 6 up and 15 down, playing game 3 of a 6-game homestand.
There's the first 2 fast break points for Chicago.
And one of the reasons those are the only 2 points is that Detroit has 4 people behind the 3-point line. Only Ben Wallace goes to the offensive board. All of the 4 guys go back.
And that happened to be Ben Wallace's man that wound up getting the lead pass and scoring in transition.
So somebody's got to protect the basket as Ben Wallace is getting back, and that's a team thing. And that's where Detroit is so solid. Nothing spectacular about their game. They just limit easy baskets, make it tough on you. Offense, they grind it out.
Foul on Hassel, putting Hamilton at the line. He's an 85% free throw shooter. Bill Cartwright in a discussion with the official, Jack Neese. Bill is actually incapable of yelling. As it turns out, while playing for the Bulls in the early 90s. His larynx shattered by an elbow. He was telling us earlier he had 6 operations. He can now speak at almost normal volume. Even picked up a couple of technical fouls last season. He said he actually was teed up for stamping his feet too loudly. Did you ever get a technical like that?
Well, I could yell, so that was the problem.
I didn't know that you yell.
Only occasionally.
8.5 remaining in the third quarter, and the Pistons up by 8. Williams all the way. It counts, and the foul.
A little burst of speed. Jay Williams sees the opening, the quick crossover to get himself in the slot between the two Pistons defenders. Just enough lift to get it up over the rim.
Just made his return, so 14 rebounds for Ben Wallace. He had 18 last night against the Hawks. Hamilton fouled from behind by Hassel. 7 games last year as a rookie. Pistons have opened up a 10-point lead. Chicago made a run after that good finish in the first half by Detroit. Here's Detroit right back with 7 straight points. Rose going to the crossover. Jalen Rose with his first bucket up front with Jalen Rose. Corey Blunt has returned. Pfizer posting. Wallace with the rebound. 17 rebounds for Ben Wallace. He had 18 last night. His season high is 24. Once again leads the league in that department. No, that was not a good idea.
Ben jumping in the air around the foul line and trying to find an outlet. Not exactly what Rick Carlisle preaches.
A move within 2 of the Pistons with 7:14 remaining in the fourth. It is Detroit ball as we resume. Chucky Atkins in the backcourt now with John Barry. They double up on Cliff Robinson. It is a backcourt violation. Rick Carlisle claiming that Jamal Crawford got a piece of it, and the officials are talking it over.
Rick Carlisle saying there was a deflection on the pass. Right here is where Rick felt that the hand of Crawford touched the basketball. The officials are talking it over. They're going to put time back on the clock, I believe, and give the ball back to the Pistons. And Marv, in the first half, Detroit shot 45% from the floor. This half, they're just 7 of 30, 23%. Now, does that have anything to do with last night playing against Atlanta and now coming in tonight, wearing down here in the second half?
But this ball should be inbounded in the backcourt. He picked it up in the backcourt. They shouldn't have moved it back up here.
Well, Crawford gets it back. Here's Crawford. Jamal Crawford, so aggressive at the defensive end, has tied the game at 66. Broken up by Crawford.
Chicago went from the steal and score right back into their 2-3 zone and comes up with another steal.
6.5 remaining in the fourth, and a foul is called. That basket will not count as Hoiberg hit the deck.
Earlier in the year, when the Pistons were on an early road trip, they struggled against zone defense the entire trip. And only recently have they started to play better against the zone. Here tonight, when Bill Cartwright has spotted it, it's given Detroit troubles again.
Williamson called for that foul. Tied at 66 by virtue of a 9-2 run by Chicago. Crawford with the crossover. Crawford scored! What a performance! The last minute and a half by Jamal Crawford. The Bulls take the lead for the first time since the early moments when they're up 6-4. Hamilton has been very quiet. Here's Phillips for 3.
You know, Marv, we got to give credit They've gone through 4 tough years. This is year number 5 in the rebuilding process. They're averaging over 19,000 fans a game here.
All right, Rose not able to hit the three. Recovered by Hoiberg. Rose again from downtown. Jalen Rose, 6 for 21.
One of the reasons Chicago zone's effective right now is Corliss Williamson on the perimeter is not a range shooter. It's one of the ways to take him out of his low post game.
Hamilton draws the foul as the Bulls converged on him. You mentioned the crowds that have continued to come out here in Chicago despite what the Bulls have gone through. They started the last 3 seasons with records of 1-12. They're 6-15 coming into tonight. They average better than 19,000, which is 3rd in the NBA in home attendance.
You know, at halftime, Hamilton was 4 for 8 from the floor. He was 0 for 9 up until that last foul right now, and that's what scorers do. They find a way to get points on the board. On his last shot, he tried to get fouled rather than make the shot.
Nice look, Robinson for Wallace.
If you're Pfizer there, you've got to take that foul and make Ben Wallace earn it at the line.
It's the Wallace rule rather than the Shaq rule.
Chicago.
Bulls to Chicago ball as we approach 4 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Rose being played aggressively by Williamson. They clear it out. Shot clock to 5. Rose with the feed. And the Pistons in possession. Hamilton. And now Detroit resets. Hamilton coming to the other side. Lost the dribble off his foot. Recovered by Williamson. Here's Billups for 3. Chauncey Billups from downtown. And the Pistons lead by 4.
Well, I could be wrong, but it looked like half the guys thought they were playing zone for Chicago and half of them were playing man-to-man. They were all over the place that time, spread out.
And Chauncey Billups quietly put together a solid game with 16 points.
Crawford getting the step. Trying to hand it off. He had nowhere to go. Crawford. Pistons with the ball and a 4-point lead with 3:10 remaining in the 4th. Williamson getting the step. Corliss Williamson extends to a 76-70 advantage and a top 14, and the Pistons lead by 4. Williamson. 2.5 remaining in the 4th quarter, and it's Detroit 78, Chicago 72.
At both ends, they came out of timeout with pick-and-roll plays that resulted in a layup for Daniel Marshall and a 6-foot jumper for Corliss Williamson.
Greg Sager over at the Bulls bench telling us that, yes, that is exactly what Bill Cartwright was talking about during the timeout, trying to straighten out the confusion on the defensive end.
Where experience shows up. Close games, down the stretch, execution at the offensive end, getting the ball to the right people at the right time.
Shot clock down to 5. 3 on the 24. Hamilton. Williams looking for the screen and then has to give it back. Phillips shake it up. Here's Rose. Yes. It's a 4-point game. 20 remaining. They used all their full timeouts. Detroit has 1 full and a 20. A minute 26 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Pistons with the ball and lead by 4.
And they've gone back to the 2-3 matchup zone.
And the ball is kicked by Rose, so they put a fresh 14 on the clock.
And that hurts. They've got them down to 9. Nothing's happening for Detroit. Kick ball. It goes back to 14, especially with only a minute 17 left. That could be a huge 5-second differential.
They double up on Hamilton. Phillips with the open 3 and hits again. Chauncey Billups has done it here in the 4th quarter. 19 points in all. 8 of 15 from the field. Pistons by 7. The Bulls need buckets in a hurry. Williams
possession. Two Bulls went to the low left block area. The Pistons were open right in the middle of the floor. Nobody with them. That's where the ball wound up getting to, even though it was late getting there.
And the foul on Jay Williams.
Watch down in the lower part of your screen. You're going to see two of the Bulls players. This area is wide open there for the Bulls as they run their attack against the zone offense. There go the two Bulls outside. There's the guy in the middle of the lane.
And that's team foul number 4 on Chicago. Shot clock at 5. Robinson ends up in the hands of Wallace. 21 rebounds for Ben Wallace, and the Pistons just using the clock. 7-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, and a foul is called on Hassel, so Chicago now over the limit.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but when they got the offensive rebound, you had a foul almost right then at that moment. There was only a 6-second differential in the game clock and shot clock. You're down 7 points at that time. You got to take a chance and foul and put him on the line.
Especially that Wallace was the rebounder. He had the ball in his hands. 46% free throw shooting. You got to foul.
Hamilton now 10 of 10 at the line.
You realize how courteous I was. I did not want to interrupt you.
You know, if it's that urgent, I'd go right for it.
You're very sensitive, though.
And so in this first of 4 meetings on the season between the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons, the Pistons come away with an 86-70.
All the